I have never in my life received so many DMs about one thing before, but I am currently in Austin, Texas. And the second that I posted that I was here, every person and their mother DM'd me on Instagram being like, you have to go to Book People. It is this absolutely enormous independent bookshop and it looks phenomenal. I looked at a few TikToks and then I had to stop myself from watching it because I was like, no, let's go and experience it for real. Since it is literally a 25-minute Uber journey from where I'm currently staying in Austin, I'm a walker. I love to walk places and listen to my audiobook, but Austin is not that walkable. I'm realizing, I've been here for a couple of days now and I'm realizing you need to Uber if you would like to cling on to your life because I think the route there is basically a highway. And you know what? I'm actually having quite a nice time. I would like this to continue. So I am going to just take a car and take you guys along with me. There's a book in mind that I would like to pick up, but we may, we'll see where things take us. Things could get a little crazy. I'm not ruling it out that this video may end in like a book haul, but that's all the fun of the circus. So, and also I just finished my book. I just finished the book that I was reading. It's called Open Heaven. Guys, the funny thing about this one is that it's an advanced copy. So I basically went to the Booker Prize and I met the editor of this book and we were just like chatting at the after party and stuff. And he was like, I have a book that is coming out in April that I think you will adore. We were talking about like our taste in books and what we look for and what we gravitate towards. And he was like, I think you're gonna love this book. It's called Open Heaven, which comes from the epigraph, which is from William Blake. Every flower, the pink, the jessamine, the wallflower, the carnation, the jonquil and mild lily opes their heavens. Every tree and flower and herb soon fill the air with an innumerable dance. Yet all in order and sweet and lovely, men are sick with love. I thought that was so lovely. And so the title Open Heaven comes from that line, opes her heavens. And it's a story about first love and the intensity of sort of being swept off your feet by it, knocked off your feet even. Without spoiling it too much, it's about unrequited love, but it's more complex and nuanced than that. It's also about, the love that we can give each other and how sometimes you may project romantic feelings onto a person who loves you, but platonically. And so it's kind of about how we can serve each other, how we support one another, and it's gorgeously lyrical. It's like set in a small village, so it's very rooted in nature and the natural world and flowers and the trees, and it's split into sections for each season. And I think that the emotions being mirrored by the movements of the natural world mirrors the way that love develops and blossoms and then, eventually at some point the trees go barren and the leaves are gone. So you see the kind of life cycle of a love story. Anyway, all this to say, I just finished that book in bed, so I am going to go and get myself a new one. Can we also talk about this one thing? So I know that people say like everything is bigger in Texas. Everything is also disproportionate in Texas. So this was my protein shake that I ordered this morning on DoorDash. This is a large. This is my protein shake from yesterday. This is also a large. And then this, this was a medium. Riddle me that one. I'm still very confused by that. Anyway, it's a gorgeous day. Let's go out and go book shopping. What is big is this hair. I'm trying to tame the beast a little bit. I just watched back that clip and I was like, oh my God, the size of that hair was like part of the Austin, Texas skyline. I think I've like flattened it a little bit now. I have to put you on this lip balm. It's from Grown Alchemist and basically it is like watermelon flavor, but this is the best thing about it. If you have a mustache or a beard, this is a godsend because it doesn't have petroleum, which basically means that it doesn't, so petroleum, which is used in a lot of lip balms because a lot of lip balms are tested on women who generally do not have mustaches. Petroleum reacts with the proteins in hair and so it clumps. And so with a lot of lip balms, if you put it on your lips and then it reacts with the hairs, you get little white patches, which is horrible. I went to the Oppenheimer premiere and there are no pictures of me from that premiere because my lip balm reacted, so disgusting. My lip balm reacted with the hair in my mustache. And I had these horrible little white spots in the pictures, so kindly no one posted them anywhere on the internet, thank God. But now I use this lip balm and not a problem. Grown Alchemist, baby. I will preach about that until the cows come home. Oh, well, I just called my Uber. It's on its way. One thing I'm quite baffled by is that I have this AirPod case, but no AirPods. Where the hell did they go? I feel like they're somewhere in this room, but I cannot for the life of me find them. So I guess we're just gonna be raw dogging it, which it's just me and my thoughts, I guess. Horrifying. Horrible. What do you mean I have to process things? What do you mean I have to think? With no music, with no audiobook, with no podcast? What do you mean I have to go an hour without consuming any form of media? I'm kidding, but actually I'm a bit annoyed by that. Hi, how are you?
Have a good one.
Thank you. Thanks so much, have a nice day. Picked up 2 books from the bookshop. Now, you may notice I'm back home in London. There is more to this vlog, which I will include after I tell you about these 2 books, but everything was just a little chaotic, and so I never ended up actually filming my book haul of the things that I got at Book People. So I wanted to tell you about them now. So firstly, I picked up this book, which is called Deep Cuts. I don't know anything about this book and I haven't seen anyone talking about it, but the description absolutely got me. And also it's a book about music and 2 people who connect and fall in love based on their passion for music. And the cover is very tactile. It's basically, it feels like a vinyl record. Like there's kind of ridges on the cover, in the cover design. And then also, this bit down here is all of the chapter names. So it kind of looks like a mixtape. And I just thought that was genius. Like whoever designed this cover, that is so smart. And then I looked up the UK cover and it isn't this. It's similar but different. And I can't believe that anyone thought they should change this in any way, because I think this is perfect. But let me read you the description because this just sounded so up my street. It's a Friday night at a campus bar in Berkeley, fall of 2000, and Percy is pontificating about music again. Percy, who has no talent for music, just lots of opinions about it, can't stop herself from overanalyzing the song playing on the jukebox. But something is different tonight. The guy beside her at the bar, fellow student Joe, is a songwriter, and he could listen to Percy talk all night. To be understood is to be loved. To be seen is to be loved. It was described on a little sign in the bookstore as kind of nostalgic and engrossing and also completely addictive. So I feel like once I start reading this, I won't stop. It's by Holly Brickley, and listen, I did judge this book by its cover, but then I'm glad I did that because it led me to reading the blurb and realizing this could become a new favorite book of mine. I'm very, very pumped to get started with this. Moving from Brooklyn bars to San Francisco dance floors, Deep Cuts examines the nature of talent, obsession, belonging, and above all, our need to be heard. That sounds like a book written for me. It's kind of like, there's this book by Rob Sheffield, who is a contributing editor at Rolling Stone, which is called Love is a Mixtape, and it's all about losing his girlfriend and the way that music soundtracked both their love story together, but also his grief after losing her. And I mean, that was a real life story, but the way that he implemented music within the story, and it almost had its own soundtrack. Or books like Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson, music is always so integral to that story, as well as Small Worlds, his other book. Something about that kind of intermedia, interdisciplinary kind of style where you talk about both music and writing just scratches an itch in my brain, you know? I have one more book to tell you about, but before I do, I wanted to let you know that today's video is very kindly brought to you by Squarespace. And Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for building a website or an online brand. And the best news is you don't need any coding experience. You don't need to be an expert web developer. With Squarespace, you can use their range of hundreds of incredible templates. And these templates can be customized to whatever you want. So if you have a vision, Squarespace can help you to bring it to life. And of course, when you're running a business, the most important thing is putting your best foot forward, because often your website is people's first impression of your business. And so with Squarespace, making a good first impression is guaranteed. There's the ability to make a blog, an email sign-up list. Your customers can have flexible payments. There's also AI SEO, so your website will appear on search results. And if all of this sounds good, you can head to squarespace.com right now for a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch your beautiful new website, you can use the code JackInTheBooks at squarespace.com/JackInTheBooks to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. You're welcome. Now, the next book that I picked up was What It's Like in Words. This is a dark, intense, and compelling account of what happens when a young woman falls in love with the wrong kind of man. Both of these characters are writers, which made me want to read this book. I think when two creative minds collide, it can be either brilliant or catastrophic, or both. I think the description in the bookstore said that it was kind of a portrait of a young woman building herself back after the wreckage of a tumultuous relationship and having to reestablish who she is and what she likes and what she wants from the world, but also what she wants from future relationships. And I thought that sounded like a really interesting kind of thought study. This says it's a love letter to friendship, art making, and the messiest parts of ourselves. It was said to be Sally Rooney-esque, but I always take that with, you know, a little pinch of salt, because basically every book on the literary fiction shelf is described as Sally Rooney-esque in some capacity, and I'm like, why don't we just let Sally Rooney be Sally Rooney-esque? Like, please, let's allow authors to have their own identity. So this is by Eliza Moss. I loved the title too, What It's Like in Words, because, you know, sometimes it's so hard to explain the feeling of a situation you have found yourself in, and it's like, I'm telling you what it's like in words, but I know that the words can't truly translate exactly what it is like to be in the moment every single day. You know, what's that R.F. Kuang quote where she says, like, every translation is an act of betrayal? I think that's true. Even when you speak and you tell someone about an experience, you are betraying that experience in some way, because you cannot give a 100% objective perspective of what happened to you. There will always be subjectivity. There will always be your point of view. You can't account for how the other person experienced the event. So What It's Like in Words, I thought as a title just encapsulated so much. And so that was my little book haul from Book People. I also didn't really explain why I was in Texas. I was there with TikTok for South by Southwest, which is this like film, TV, health, content creation, social impact festival where you have like, it's a kind of a convention, I guess. You have all of these talks going on, but also movie premieres, TV show premieres, and then loads of brands do activations all around the city where you can get like freebies and exclusive merch and stuff like that. So it was very cool getting to see Austin in this way. I'm very grateful to TikTok for taking me with them. And I also got asked to do a talk, which you'll also see later in the video, or, you know, what I could film of it, because obviously when you're on a stage doing a talk, it's quite hard to vlog. People tend not to appreciate that when halfway through a talk, you whip out your phone and start vlogging. So I've never done it, but that was my reason for being in Austin. And I was so grateful that I got to go, because I never thought I would get the opportunity to go to Texas. So it was very, very fun. The actual reason that I went into the bookstore was to find a book called Natural Beauty, which is, I'd seen it described a lot as being one for fans of the movie The Substance. I made a bunch of content over movie award season about, you know, if you love this movie, you should read this book. And I recommended a book called Who Wants to Live Forever for the Substance, which is a book about a substance you can take that makes you immortal. And so while that book isn't specifically about the beauty industry, natural beauty is. So I thought maybe those two books together would be like the perfect companion to the movie The Substance. So I really wanted to read it, and my mission when I went to Book People was to find it, but they did not have a copy. It was sold out, which was obviously annoying, but also a great sign that it's a popular book and that people were buying it. And the fact that it's sold out, I was like, I'm going to take that as a positive thing, and I'm going to continue my search in Austin. So that's what the next part of this vlog is, continuing to try to find this book. So thank you for joining my book haul. Okay, so they did not have it. That's okay. I found online that there is another bookstore that does have it. I looked online and Barnes & Noble apparently have one copy. That one copy is mine. Got the goods. They had actually 4 copies. All the stuff in that shop were just delightful. Thanks to everyone who said hi. That was so nice. I met so many of you. And we've got the goods. Okay, I got the book, and can I just say, everyone who works in the bookstores in Austin is absolutely delightful. Thank you so much to everyone who said hi. I really appreciate it. It's so nice when I'm so far from home and I get to meet you guys. It's so lovely. And always in the bookstore too, which feels appropriate. It feels like the right place that we should meet. So I got my book, and now I'm gonna go and find somewhere to read it. Trouble is, it's bloody expensive. Having to take Ubers everywhere, because I Ubered to one bookshop and then I Ubered here to Barnes & Noble, and I have to Uber to a coffee shop or Soho House or something. As nice as this car park is, I think I might head somewhere else to read it. It's like 4 o'clock now. There is a party that I'm going to at 6:30, so I kind of might just go and feels a bit lame turning up with my book though. On brand, but lame. So, should I go back to my hotel? I don't know what to do. I'm gonna figure it out. But yeah, having to Uber everywhere, like $20 each time. Oh my God, I'm hemorrhaging money in Austin, Texas. Okay, I switched on my brain for like 2 seconds and I've realized I can just go to the Barnes & Noble coffee shop and read my book in there, rather than like Ubering to a coffee shop and then Ubering to the party. I'm just gonna start reading this book here, because I know I want to go back to my hotel at some point to change, because I'm gonna go to the club. I'm gonna end up at the club. I know I'm gonna end up at the club, so I need something that's a little more like club appropriate. For now, let's go back into Barnes & Noble, and I'm gonna get started with reading this book. I just read the first 50 pages. Okay, I have come to Raising Cane's, firstly because I could just smell it from across the street, but I wanted to try this. I hear people speak so fondly of Raising Cane's, so let's try it. That sauce that they make is unbelievably good. Now I understand why people adore Raising Cane's to the extent that they do. It randomly got so cold, the sun is setting. I had the loveliest time at Raising Cane's. I met this lovely lady in Barnes & Noble who watches my videos. Hi Sarah, if you're watching. And then she was also in Raising Cane's, which is living the exact same day. We have like hive mind, like one brain cell between all of us who watch these videos. So then we sat and had dinner together too. It was so nice. And now I have just sold one of my internal organs on the black market so that I can afford another Uber. It's getting so windy. To go to a party. Okay, I'm going for a morning run, and look how gorgeous this is. Oh my God, that makes it a little bit easier to get out of the house. Like, damn, are you seeing this? Beautiful. Okay, I've been frantically getting ready, but I'm now ready so we can talk. It's been 25 minutes. I look different now. I had to just speed run getting ready, and I've called my car. It's on its way. So now we can chat. Let's catch up. Today, I have a talk. I'm doing a panel. It's hosted at Soho House in Austin for like industry leaders and marketing teams and brands. This is not the outfit I was intending to wear on the stage. That was the outfit. However, this is pretty creased and I don't want to look like a complete scruff. I would actually quite like to make a good impression. So this is what we're doing. Guys, I'm so nervous. I'm like practicing in the shower, like what I'm gonna say. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Oh my God, look at him. Such a poser. That headshot is so funny. Why did I choose that one? The The talk went super well. It was really fun getting to be a part of that and be able to speak at South by Southwest. And after the talk, I went for some food with the TikTok team, and then the TikTok team rented a boat. And so we got to sail around in Austin, and it was really nice actually to get away from the madness of the city just for a little bit and just be with the water. There were some points where we were just kind of spinning around in circles in the boat, but we did survive the boat. It was it was really fun. Natural Beauty ended up being a book I liked but didn't love. It's about a woman who went to school to play piano, and it seemed like her future of being a pianist was super bright, and then something happens, which means that she gives it up forever. So she's bouncing around the city in different jobs until she gets a role at a place called Holistic. And Holistic is known for its quite remarkable products and procedures. And so as an employee of this company, she is bombarded with all of these unique surgeries and procedures that enhance her, elevate her in some way to the point where she is completely unrecognizable. But also her parents are quite sick and unwell. So she has to keep this job even when she starts to question it because she needs the money to fund their care. It's a book about consumerism and the ways that beauty is kind of a myth, and the beauty industry will create problems in order to solve them. Like, they will create insecurities so that you pay them money to fix them. And of course, once these things become ubiquitous and everyone is getting them and it becomes a sign of privilege and wealth and prosperity, suddenly these things become so desirable because if you don't have them, it kind of looks bad on you. And a new beauty standard has been invented and it's kind of pay to play. So it's not exactly like The Substance, but there's also body horror. So it is kind of aligned in terms of kind of genre. It's the same thing in a different font. I liked the social commentary. I thought some of the horror was fun. I also thought a lot of the horror was a bit ridiculous, and it kind of was spinning such an intricate web that it kind of started to get a little bit lost and honestly just a bit boring. So I thought this book was aggressively okay. I liked it, I didn't love it, if that makes sense. I think it draws attention to and asks important questions, but it felt a little obvious at times. Sometimes it's kind of like low-hanging fruit. I mean, I underlined a lot of quotes, I just felt like the point had been made. By page 150, I was like, I think we can wrap this up now. It's getting a little ridiculous. But I'm glad I read it, and that is Natural Beauty. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.